Good evening. The crisis enveloping Adelaide's Writers' Week continues to deepen, with former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern the latest big name to boycott the event. It comes as the Premier faces increasing scrutiny over his role in the worsening debacle.
Resigned and resigned. 3 board members and the chair closing the book on their time with Writers' Week over the weekend.
Well, you have to ask them.
More than 100 authors have now pulled the pin on the event over the axing of pro-Palestine writer Dr Randa Abdel Fattah, the latest Jacinda Ardern, who was New Zealand Prime Minister in 2019 when 51 Muslims were killed in the Christchurch massacre.
This is one of New Zealand's darkest days.
The Premier's coming under increasing pressure over his role in the Writers' Week crisis.
And it really has destroyed the credibility and the independence of this festival, and it's a result of the Premier's intervention.
There's a lot of grey area when it comes to the Premier's involvement.
The man who gives the Adelaide Festival $10 million a year provided the board with his opinion before it made its controversial decision.
Post-Bondi, absolutely. When it was drawn to my attention that this woman was still in the program, I absolutely expressed my view of my concern around it.
The backlash still coming thick and fast. Now that so many authors have withdrawn, it remains to be seen if the event can still go ahead here in any form. Festival organisers only saying updates will be shared when possible. Legal action has been flagged by the axed author at the centre of it all, her lawyer saying, please ensure your organisation retains all documents that relate to the decision to exclude Dr Abdel Fattah. You are now on notice that these documents may be required for the purposes of litigation.
There has been differing views. The Premier got his way and the whole thing is blown up in his face. And our state's reputation is in tatters.
Hannah Ford, 7 News.
To a developing story now, and the search for a mother of 2 feared dead in the South Australian outback has intensified. Deanna Williams joins us right here in the studio, and police are returning to the state's far north.
They are, Mike. A team of major crime detectives will hit the ground running tomorrow morning, conducting searches and door knocks in Andamuka and other locations where 41-year-old Trisha Graff was last seen. There's been no sign of the mother of 6 since she left a friend's home on December 12. Police have managed to confirm her movements that morning and evening and believe there are people who may have seen her in the town but haven't yet contacted them. They're particularly keen to speak with anyone who saw her at the Roxby Downs Hotel on the night she disappeared. Her Ford Territory was found abandoned on a dirt mound near Blue Dam, east of Andamuka, and her disappearance has been declared a major crime. Police are confident this latest search will uncover much-needed evidence and lead to a breakthrough. Mike.
Thanks, Dee. A Tea Tree Gully man repeatedly punched by police during a wild arrest has fronted court on a string of serious driving charges. Video obtained by 7 News shows an officer landing several blows on 24-year-old Dwayne Haggerty while 2 other officers hold him down. Haggerty's arrest followed a brief chase through the northern suburbs in an allegedly stolen car. Police say they're reviewing the footage. Haggerty did not apply for bail. Now to the dramatic arrest of a driver who crashed her car while trying to evade police in the southern suburbs. The woman refused to stop even after slamming into a parked vehicle while driving on the wrong side of the road.
Dazed and incoherent, a woman is taken into custody after a wild police chase through the southern suburbs.
Use your legs. Grow up.
Police finally catching up with the 28-year-old on Jervois Street in South Plympton after officers spotted her driving erratically at Edwardstown.
She was not in a good way and, quite frightening.
Her joyride coming to an end when she abandoned the vehicle in an empty block and took off on foot.
And there were just police absolutely everywhere. Just cars, police everywhere.
Locals woken by screams.
I just raced out because I thought it was something else. I thought the poor lady, something had happened to her.
Susie Thalborn says crime in the area has left her feeling unsafe in her own home.
I'm thinking maybe, might be time to move soon, unfortunately, because it just doesn't seem very safe.
Police say the woman was driving on the wrong side of the road when she hit a parked car here on Wood Street. But even that wasn't enough to stop her in her tracks.
I don't know. what was going on, but it wasn't good.
The woman remains behind bars tonight, expected to be charged with a string of driving offences. Madison Stanley, 7 News.
2 men have faced court over a shocking crash that left the driver and allegedly stolen ute fighting for life. 29-year-old Scott Doherty is charged with causing harm by dangerous driving.
Were you chasing that car? Were you chasing him? Tell us what happened. Did you know the driver of the other car?
The second man was arrested for assault. Police say Doherty's BMW struck the ute being driven by Dylan Goodliff from behind, forcing it into the path of a truck. And police are investigating a suspicious fire which ripped through an accounting firm in the eastern suburbs early this morning. Emergency crews were called to Paynham Road just before 1 a.m. Firefighters quickly contained the blaze, but not before it caused extensive damage.
I guess you don't come to work expecting to see that on a Monday. It's really sad for the people that work there. I hope they're okay and their jobs are okay.
A Good Samaritan who tried to help put the fire out suffered smoke inhalation but didn't need to go to hospital. And police are also trying to work out what sparked a backyard fire at Kilburn last night. It started behind a house on D Avenue just after 8:30. Quick work by the MFS prevented it from spreading to the home. No one was injured. 7 News can reveal sparks from a trailer ignited the devastating Longwood blaze in Victoria that so far destroyed more than 150 structures and claimed the life of a cattle farmer. As we go to air, a smoke haze is drifting across South Australia. The CFS warning those travelling near state borders to exercise caution.
Run off the road as fires raged across the state. This is the shell of Max Hobson's ute. It was his ticket out of the disaster zone, but the cattle farmer stayed to defend his property south of Euroa. In his 80s, his body found 100 metres down the road. He was just 10 minutes from home.
He was always very nice to me, and hearing that he's passed, it's not good. Doesn't feel good at all.
His wife escaped the catastrophic conditions, now mourning her husband with no home to return to, and his shred of memories of their property reduced to rubble in a fire, indiscriminate, relentless and unforgiving.
Oh, it's sad, 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 sad. Even this far after, yeah. It's devastating.
It's the first fire-related death in a disaster which has now spread to more than 400,000 hectares. The smoke visible from space, the scars burnt into the land. Dom Roden feared his mate Rowan Carvin was dead when he left to defend his own home, leaving him with a wet blanket sheltering with sheep.
It was also probably an hour and a half I spent thinking my mate was dead and trying to build the courage up to ring him to see will he answer.
This was his Longwood East property.
We were down the back and we got hit by a hurricane.
A firestorm from which he counts himself lucky. A farmer losing his livelihood, one of more than 1,000 impacted across the state.
Unbelievable that they've saved this.
Kathy Munslow's home also saved.
So many people have lost so much. It's horrific.
Running a sanctuary for animals who've been abused, she knows they went through hell again when she has to leave them. That was her returning to find all but one of her animals miraculously survived.
Stuff can be rebuilt, but they can't be replaced.
After days of cooler conditions, there are still fires burning out of control from the Otways to Walwa and Longwood. The number of buildings destroyed in this disaster increasing again, 350 across the state. New details of one home gone at Kennedy's Creek in the Otways, a property lost at Dargo and another at Mount Mercer, 59 at Streatham, Yarrawea, 10 structures gone, including Tessa's parents' home of almost 3 decades.
Because this stuff just doesn't happen here.
For the thousands of fire crews, this is a marathon fight. Far from over, where the fires are under control, the danger is real, causing frustration for heroes trying to get in to replace the lifeblood of these farms. The risk of falling trees also why many residents still can't return home. As flames still flare, for some at least, the rebuild is already underway.
The entire mountain was lit up. It looked like lava flow.
A region filled with wineries and orchards, this was once the heart of the industry. The Coolstore Cooperative kept priceless stock for dozens of local businesses in and around Harcourt, now counting their losses. Around 850 insurance claims have already been made. Donations already flooding in at support centres. Now, a new way to help.
We are starting and opening the Victorian Bushfire Appeal. Donations will be able to start being made tomorrow online.
The Premier promising every dollar raised will go back to those communities. Rochelle Brown, 7 News.
Federal politicians have been ordered back to Canberra early to pass crucial reforms after the massacre at Bondi Beach. The Prime Minister made the call today, introducing what he calls some of the toughest laws in Australia's history.
Hitting back against the peddlers of hate.
The terrorists at Bondi Beach had hatred in their minds, but guns in their hands. This law will deal with both.
Prime Minister Albanese recalls Parliament 2 weeks early
next Monday and Tuesday
to debate the Combating Anti-Semitism, Hate and Extremism Bill. It promises to toughen the ban on prohibited symbols and target the preachers of hate.
We would have a new offence that's punishable by a maximum penalty of 5 years imprisonment.
As well, a new framework to prohibit hate groups. Membership, even promoting the group, made a criminal offence, and the minister armed with powers to cancel visas based on hate speech.
This draws a line in the sand and says racial bigotry of itself is a reason to be able to refuse a visa.
The bill also sets up the government's planned gun buyback.
There are more guns now in Australia than there were at the time of the Port Arthur massacre.
The opposition suggests the bill takes in too many complex matters. Though late today had still not seen the full legislation, so would not say how it will handle next week's debate here.
We haven't had a single bit of input into what the government have provided. We want to get this right.
Though one government critic calls today's announcement timely.
I think in many ways we've got the mechanisms available to us. Now it's time to put them into play.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
The future of the AUKUS submarine deal is now in doubt from within. It's feared plans to develop the nuclear-powered submarines could falter as Britain struggles with shipbuilding. Those concerns from a former top British defence official who says Australia hasn't been properly briefed on the UK's lack of skills and experience in the field. Philip Mathias says there's a high chance the UK element of the pact could fail. The crisis in Iran is worsening by the day, with the death toll from the anti-regime uprising soaring past 500. But the true number could be far greater. Donald Trump is being briefed on options for a military strike. US intervention is looking increasingly likely.
Outside this overflowing Iranian morgue, the dead fill the footpaths. Body bags lie open here and inside this school hall so families can find their loved ones killed by security forces. The scale of the medical operation leading many to believe the number of dead reported to be in the hundreds is actually in the thousands. But instead of crushing dissent, it seems only to fuel further protest. That these videos make it through Iran's digital blackout at all, taken as evidence the regime's control is weakening. Down with America chants the nation's parliament, but around the world, displaced residents demand Donald Trump install Reza Pahlavi through regime change.
Mr. President, you have already established your legacy as a man committed to peace. They know that you're not going to throw them under the bus.
For protesters here, news the US and Israel are considering striking Iranian military targets is met with mixed emotions. Any blow against the regime would be welcome, but they know it would almost certainly further destabilise their homeland.
If he would help us, that would be amazing, that would be great.
It has to be. We paid for it. Our people in Iran, they are paying their life with it.
In London, Ben Downey, 7 News.
Social media giant Meta has taken a swipe at the federal government, month on from the launch of the world-leading under-16s ban. The tech titan has so far wiped nearly 540,000 accounts across Facebook, Instagram and Threads in the ban's first weeks. Meta insists the ban does not meet its goal of increasing the safety of children, also slamming the age verification methods as inconsistent. Australian actress Rose Byrne has struck gold in a room filled with Hollywood's best. The star taking home her first ever Golden Globe, and her acceptance speech was as Aussie as it gets.
Hollywood's awards season is officially in full swing. The biggest names in film and TV gathering for the 83rd Golden Globes. And amongst the glitz and glam, a familiar twang.
This is my dream come true. You know, I've wanted to be in the movies since I was 13 years old. You know, since I watched Heath when I was 11, I've wanted to do that.
Jacob Elordi, one of 5 Australians nominated, including Joel Edgerton.
Hello. I love you.
Sarah Snook.
It's amazing, you know, you got like Zoe Kravitz in line with you and J-Lo, and like, what am I doing here?
Nick Cave and Rose Byrne.
Everyone back in Oz is rooting for you.
Aww, that makes me really very special. Thank you.
Rose, the only Aussie to take home a gong for best performance by a female actor in a motion picture in the musical or comedy section for her work in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
Thanks to, my mum and dad who bought Paramount Plus so they could watch the Golden Globes from Sydney. I want to thank my husband Bobby Cannavale, who couldn't be here because he's we're getting a bearded dragon and he went to a reptile expo in New Jersey. So thank you, baby.
Adolescence dominated the TV categories, taking home 4 Globes, while One Battle After Another, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, also racked up 4 wins, including Best Picture Comedy.
This has been one of the most incredible filmmaking experiences once in a lifetime.
Comedian Nikki Glaser, hosting for the 2nd year in a row, had the celebrities in her sights.
I've always wanted to ask you this question, and I know this is unprofessional, but my Nespresso has been coming out kind of watery, and I'm wondering, is it like a pod issue, or you think it might be the filter? Could you troubleshoot it for me later? Thank you so much.
Today was as much about the films and the acting as it was about the fashion, and as always, there were quite a few head-turners.
Oh my God, wait, see my party in the back.
From Teyana Taylor's blinged out behind to Jenna Ortega's dramatic side cutouts, Chase Infinity's mirror dress to Bella Ramsey's bow, the carpet at the Beverly Hilton, the perfect place to make a statement. In Los Angeles, Rob Scott, 7 News.